Hello, I'm Angela Hill, and welcome. Welcome to the Louisiana Philharmonic's 25th anniversary season. This year, the LPO celebrates several milestones, including the return to this beautifully renovated space, the Orpheum Theatre, and the 10th anniversary of principal conductor Carlos Miguel Prieto. As the orchestra embarks on a new season, let's take a moment and remember the LPO's previous 25 years and celebrate the accomplishments of your hometown orchestra. The symphonic music tradition in New Orleans has existed for hundreds of years. In fact, New Orleans is credited with being the birthplace of opera in the United States. Started in 1936, the New Orleans Philharmonic Symphony was the successor of several earlier orchestras. In 1951, the orchestra merged with the Philharmonic Society and became known as the New Orleans Philharmonic Symphony Orchestra. Throughout the decades, the orchestra continued to grow and thrive, attracting acclaimed conductors Werner Torkanowski, Leonard Slatkin, Philippe Entremont, and Maxim Shostakovich. However, in September 1991, the New Orleans Symphony hit a financial wall and had no other choice but to close its doors.
The community was very sad to lose its orchestra that had been here since 1926. They wanted it back, but they didn't know in what form it would come. We had an amazingly animated meeting where we all came together and in that moment decided that we were going to call it the Louisiana Philharmonic Orchestra, and it would be musician-run, musician-owned, and operated. Everyone found a skill that they almost didn't know they had. They took those skills along with everyone else in the orchestra and created this engine that became the LPO. We knew we had to do something huge for the community to come out and root for the underdog. One of the great catalysts for our forward momentum into our premiere season was our gala benefit concert, November 23rd, 1990, in the Sanger Theatre.
The response for the orchestra's benefit opening was tremendous. Nearly 3,000 people came, the largest crowd ever to attend a symphonic concert in New Orleans.
The outpouring of love and support we received that night was mind-blowing to all of us.
Among the first tasks for the new LPO was the selection of German conductor Klaus-Peter Zeibel as the music director in 1995.
Everyone in the orchestra was so impressed with him, amazed at his musicality, his technique on the podium, his rapport with all of us as musicians. As the orchestra moved into the late 90s, early 2000s, artistically, we were at our best. Interesting programs, great soloists, really good attendance at concerts. I would say we were really firing on all cylinders.
The LPO seemed well equipped for success as it entered into the millennium. That is until Hurricane Katrina.
It was incredibly difficult, as it was for all our citizens, to watch their city go underwater. And my husband and I were in our tiny little mountain cabin watching the city drowned on a little 2-inch battery-operated TV screen, and saw that Canal Street was underwater, and we knew the Orpheum Theatre had flooded. And that's where my husband's timpani were, now under 30 feet of water. Even with all of that, though, I have to say that neither one of us ever believed that the LPO or New Orleans would not come back.
The LPO had to rebuild from the ground up. Audiences were scattered around the country. Records were lost, leaving the staff and the orchestra to start all over again.
I had heard that there was a lot of opportunity down in the Louisiana Philharmonic because of the storm. A great deal of the orchestra had left, and so there are many openings. You know, you're coming to a city that's just been devastated 2 years before, and we didn't know the direction that the orchestra was going to go in at the time.
But as luck would have it, the LPO, even before Katrina, had signed on a new, energetic music director, who, after the storm, breathed new life into the orchestra.
We had just found Carlos Miguel Prieto.
We initially came for the job, but we all chose to stay. It was a great opportunity to play in an orchestra that was rebuilding itself along with the city at the time.
We had brought the LPO back from zero before, and we were determined that we could bring it back again.
During the last 10 years, the LPO has brought innovation to the arts community, tackling new audiences and diverse methods for reaching patrons around the world.
I think the educational component has been huge for this orchestra. We've made so many new connections in different communities in southern Louisiana, all around New Orleans, new cities, new venues, new audiences, doing a lot of fun new things that I don't think anyone could have anticipated 10 years ago.
To be an orchestra musician has always been a lifelong dream of mine, and to get the opportunity to come to this city and play with this orchestra has been an absolute joy.
Moving back into the Orpheum Theatre is huge. As a musician, it's so important to be able to play in a space where you feel acoustically supported and you're inspired by the space as well as the music that you're making.
I feel like having the Orpheum Theatre as a home base is just going to be a springboard for us for new ideas, new concert formats, new places to bring what we do to the people of New Orleans.
All the musicians of the LPO will arrive back on this stage to do what it is we all do best, and that is to make music together.
And so it is, 25 years for an organization that continues to be a leader in our arts community, steeped in history, yet focused on innovation. Happy anniversary, LPO, and welcome home.